Thank you all for being here. Today we're going to be talking about the impact of autonomous vehicles on last mile delivery. First, why is it important? Lots of money here, right? $77 billion was spent last year globally on parcel delivery, which did not include pickup, line haul, sorting, so basically last mile. In any sort of delivery circumstance, last mile can take up almost 50% of the total delivery cost. In the most densely populated urban areas and to the most rural areas, sparsely populated rural areas. Why would it be important to you? It can most likely affect your place of work, whether it's e-commerce, logistics, automation, robotics, or any product industry which is not located next to its source of materials or to its customers. And if you're going into the service industry like consulting, it may still impact your buying habits through e-commerce, which has been the biggest driver for global parcel volume increase. And then finally, it's happening whether you like it or not. In the UK, they've already started trials to see how robots can deliver parcels to in London. And then the CEO of FedEx, I have a quote from him here, which says that they're already working on 5 separate work streams of projects in both aviation and automated vehicles. So logistic companies and, again, government, everyone's involved. So what are the challenges? First up, regulations. People are scared of autonomous vehicles. They don't know how computers are going to act. There's a lot to be worried about, especially with respect to cybersecurity, keeping this weekend in perspective. So there is very slow development and deployment of regulations, which makes sense. Governments are slow. It's why they're needed. We need a common set of rules because if we don't have that, it's expensive for the people who are developing these technologies to start catering to every single unique set of regulations. You got to have algorithms that are going to span from state to state, from country to country. So that's why having a common set of rules are important. Last year, former President Obama's government requested a $4 billion budget over 10 years. So start looking into regulations for self-driving cars. We don't know where the current administration is going to go with that proposal, but at least it's there for now. Next, limitations of existing technologies. You got to have these autonomous vehicles need more battery power so that they can carry larger packages. Right now, the aerial vehicles are designed around 5-pound packages, but we all know we've ordered television, air conditioning units, we've ordered all kinds of packages. So if this has to be a comprehensive solution, we need more power in these vehicles. There has to be artificial intelligence built around it in terms of what happens if there is a human being at the door. Does it leave the package there? Doesn't leave the package there? How is it going to operate in rural areas where the roads are not so good? So just managing those terrains. So a lot needs to happen over there. Next, the social impact. Within this country, 3.5 million truck drivers and about 1 million delivery truck drivers are employed. In 29 states, that's the largest source of employment. The drivers in the US are not unionized like their counterparts in Europe, but we can expect widespread protests as this technology starts getting implemented within the country. And then finally, undefined roles in the value chain. Right now, everyone's trying to do everything. You have one company looking to develop hardware, software, algorithms, do the testing, develop the car itself. As a person who was coming from the trucking industry, in the automotive industry, we know that one company doesn't do everything. There are thousands of suppliers that are providing millions of parts to make a vehicle. So right now, players like NVIDIA, Intel, Apple, they need to realize where they fit in the value chain, focus on their strengths, and that would help accelerate the deployment of autonomous vehicles. All right, so our first case study, I looked at DHL, which is a logistic company, does everything from line haul to sorting to last mile. And then I started looking at what are some of the areas that DHL is investing in as a logistics firm with autonomous vehicles. So it's first looking at vehicles that will follow driver from door to door. They have done studies and they've realized that last mile delivery, a lot of the cost comes from labor. And the labor hours are not well utilized when a delivery driver has to go to a door with a setup package and then has to walk back to the vehicle to get the next package. Especially in urban areas where parking is such a problem, a driver could be as much as 2 to 3 blocks away from the car, and every time he or she is doing that round trip, they're wasting a lot of energy and time. So with autonomous vehicles, you can actually have the car follow the driver, so they have to make a very short trip and they can get the second package quickly. Next, they're looking for vehicles which can arrive at the driver's location once the first set of package with a new set of packages. So once, let's say, a delivery van has been the packages in a delivery van have been completely delivered, the driver usually has to return to the distribution center, restock the van, and then go back to the route. You can save this trip by having a second car that's already available to meet the driver once the first car's packages have been unloaded. They're looking to see if they can reduce the fixed costs and leases and not have satellite locations by having vehicles that act as parcel collecting points for neighborhoods. It offers a low-cost solution for parcel picking from the customer's location, and again, can reduce fixed costs as well. Fourth, they're looking to see if they can serve customers in more remote regions. Right now, sending a car or a van with a driver, let's say 40 miles away from the distribution center, might be too expensive for them. But with an autonomous vehicle, this may be more feasible and provide a low-cost solution. And then you can have these add-on services like real-time tracking of packages that they can offer. Because right now, if they offer that, they're compromising the driver's safety because someone's on the van itself. But if it's just an autonomous vehicle, they can offer these services. And finally, they're looking to integrate their aerial drone division with autonomous vehicles. So you can imagine a van pulling up to a neighborhood, and then suddenly drones are being deployed from it with packages, and then they're the ones making the final last mile delivery. The second case study was around Silicon Valley, where the companies in the Bay Area are working on. As you can see, most of the companies in Bay Area are focused on food delivery, but a lot of that technology can be applied to last mile because of the nature of their product. It's a perishable good. They're focused on within driving range or within 30-minute driving range. And this McKinsey study shows that a lot of the money in Silicon Valley is being invested in food delivery startups or food delivery platforms. The scale of this graph is gray to blue, which just shows blue is the highest value or the highest number of investments, and gray is the smallest. You can see from number of companies to number of companies with investments to number of investment rounds. Food delivery and food delivery platform, which are the first two rows, are the ones that are dominating that space as compared to local commerce, specialty logistics, same-day instant delivery. So this could offer like a potential growth opportunity for these food delivery startups. Once they've solved this problem, they can look to expand into last mile delivery of other packages. So what are the big players doing? Google, it's working on Waymo, it's developing the autonomous vehicle, but it's also considering, it's looking into last mile delivery. It recently got a patent for customers stepping up to an autonomous vehicle with a unique code or a credit card, so it could retrieve or deliver packages or deposit packages. Companies like Postmates, which is like a gig economy relying on independent contractors, are now working with companies such as Matternet, Starship to develop local robots like these here, which get deployed by van and they can deliver those last mile goods. And Amazon's already delivering packages in rural England under its 30-minute primary label. And it's also looking, again, these companies are looking further ahead and seeing how autonomous vehicles are going to interact with existing infrastructure. So it's looking, it has been granted a patent where its vehicles can communicate with managed motorways. So these are motorways which will be, let's say, going south to north during the day, and in the night it might be going from north to south. they can automatically retrieve this information and plan their routes in autonomous vehicles accordingly. My recommendation, lobby for regulations. All the companies need to do that because government's going to move slower than them, and it's essential. You're bringing a technology that could potentially harm humans or could cause some danger, so regulations are important. Joint ventures and collaboration will achieve a final solution faster than a single company trying to solve all problems. Again, this is coming from my experience being in that industry, that you need someone who knows how to make a car, who can deliver, whether it's an electric engine or a diesel engine, can deliver those components. DHL should continue focusing on interactions between humans and autonomous vehicles. Not a lot of companies are doing that because this will be the first transition phase. It won't go to completely manual operations to completely fully autonomous operation. There's going to be some transition where human beings interact with these autonomous vehicles. And then finally, the food delivery startups can focus on last mile operations as potential growth areas. So they have a lot of room to grow. They just don't have to be delivering Thai food or Indian food to us.